My name's Mark, and welcome to the 10 Acre Woods. I just came outside to do this filming episode here, and it was funny because a woman came down the driveway, and she's parked her bike right here, and she's actually traveling across Canada on bike. And she was coming down the driveway there, and the boys, especially Levi, he was running down, turned around, looked, and was confused, and when she got a little bit closer, ran into the bush. So it was kind of interesting. I'm assuming that they've never seen a bicycle before, and he was wondering why there was a horse with two wheels. Anyway, I think that we'll probably have to introduce, I believe her name is Sylvia. She's traveling, she stayed in Jasper over the winter, Jasper, Alberta. Alberta, yeah, Jasper's on the Alberta side. And then she's cycling across Canada. She's going to Halifax, and then apparently she has a wedding in the UK. So quite a busy year for her. Today we're going to be looking at eggs and finding out, Tara's pointed out some of the eggs, or some of the nests where ducks and geese have been laying. So that's exciting, especially after we've seen crows come in and raid nests in the in our back area there. So I believe there's a bunch of them around. So one of them, they haven't started sitting in these nests up here. So this is one nest. I think she's kind of put a chair here. They're not, oh, they may be Muscovy. They're a little waxy looking. So Muscovy ducks have a waxiness to them. So we're gonna leave those eggs there, tucked under. We'll just put this chair right back, and we'll wait for her to come back. Now the guinea are over here relaxing. I don't believe we've found a nest for the guinea yet. We'll have to ask Tara about that because she's been keeping an eye on all the nests. Now you might see, yeah, we can see a little chipmunk here. So here's this week's episode or spot with little Chip. So what he's doing in here is he's getting all of the oats. Tara goes and she spreads out some oats here for the ducks. And you know, just so that they can get their food out here as well, because some of them do hang out. And this one here, the cheeks, it's the funniest thing. The cheeks on this little guy are huge, because he just collects all of his oats and then takes them off wherever. storing them up for next winter, I suppose. What sometimes they'll do is they'll go underneath this building here and underneath and store in there. Now that brings us to the next one, which is in here, which we don't have anybody sitting yet in here. So there's some eggs. Most of them are covered up, so they're just waiting to collect more of them, and then they'll start sitting. So we'll be watching for that. I thought I would come up and see the boys. Oh! Bless you. What are the boys doing? Where's Carl? There's Carl. Billy, Bobby, and Carl. Now, Carl, you can see his horn that's missing. Some of you had asked about, did you ever find that piece of his horn? And I did. Here it is right here. What's this, Carl? Look, what's this? Is that you? So Tara was trying to figure out, well, should we turn it into a knife handle? I don't have that kind of experience. I'm not sure how to do that. But we've still got it, so it's still here. And of course, Billy, his other horn, you can see right there, is he broke off that piece. But you haven't broken your horns, have you? You don't, so Bobby's fixed, and oh yeah, look at that. See, he needs his horn. He won't be able to scratch his other side now. Bobby is fixed, so he's not as rambunctious. He doesn't have those hormones like these two intact boys do, which are often seen breaking things. Example, their building. This is something that we're gonna have to be looking at fixing. because they've really just destroyed it. Now, some of it, mind you, was not them. You can see some chew marks here. This was from other animals like rabbits and I think there was a pony that this building is one of our first buildings. So it has seen, you know, it's seen lots. Right, bud? Is that your house? We had to replace the floor of it. Oh, there you go. We had to replace the floor of it a few years ago because there were rodents that got in underneath. So we actually had to pull up the flooring, get rid of the nest, and then I think it was last year we moved it. So the home of this was originally right over here, kind of in between these two buildings. So it used to be sitting right there. That was our original chicken coop and our 2 rabbit hutches, and then of course we closed in this area at a later date to finalize that and keep it all nice and warm during the winter. And then we had built this for the horses. So this is a nice little shelter here that we built, and then the idea of this, so we opened up this, which is hinged, so you can get some good air coming through. In the wintertime that can be closed. But the idea of this is we can build another one of these on this side of it. So the exact same thing, but flipped around over here, and then we can close in at the top to finish that off, and then maybe put a door at the front here so they can go in and have 2 separate pens. So that's the idea with that. It's always a good idea to, when you're building something, think of the future and what you want to do with that building. We didn't really do that with that chicken coop that was over there, because the roof was slanted this way and we actually couldn't attach it to this. But when we built these two, it was a nice close off between. So you learn as things go along. So when you're planning a farm and your buildings, you want to make sure you do in fact plan everything out so that it all works out. Oh, it's that time, is it? It's time to relax. Hey, is it time to relax? This is Spock. And this is Lucy. Hi, Luce. How you doing? So Lucy is unofficially the world's smallest living adult goat. So she had her issues, same as what Sheldon had, but slightly different. Hers were a selenium deficiency, and Sheldon was a neurological disorder. But we almost lost this little one. We had brought her in the house, and we had given her selenium vitamin E injections and put her in a harness, and she is, well, she's 4 years old. Sheldon! Sheldon! How you doing, buddy? Hey! How you doing there, bud? Yeah, you got your buddy Moira. She's still not quite hands-on. Take her a little bit. But you're working on her, aren't you, bud? Yeah. No, doesn't want anything to do with it. She doesn't want anything to do with it. She has gotten a lot better, though. There was times where you couldn't even be this close. But since she's in the yard here and she's got people around that are walking this far away and just nonchalant, we tell people just to mind her space. And one of the rules here is not to run, because that, of course, will scare the animals. And, of course, no picking up animals. And no hand-feeding animals, because hand-feeding animals, they tend to jump up on you if they think you have food. So we don't want to encourage that. So I did have a look over at our parking area, and there are some rowan ducks. There's a trio that's over there, and they are hanging out quite a bit, but I didn't see any eggs. So unless they're hiding them very well. Now I'm in the main pen, or the smaller pen here, with little Meadow and Sheldon and Moira. And you may notice somebody is missing, so little Bacon Bits, our 11-month-old piglet. So we rehomed her. We had put her into the main pen over there, and she was going after the little kid goats. So we want to make sure that everybody's happy and everybody's living in harmony. Now we can work with her and have her in there, but we had somebody that was very interested, somebody with a couple kids, and I believe they'd taken ducks from us before.
We have ones for the bunnies.
Oh, Miss Bits, you got your treat.
All right, kids, get in there for your picture. Say, this is my pig now.
Okay,
Come here.
Over here, Schmidt. Over here.
Yeah. Okay, turn around, look at Mark.
Is that your new pig?
Yeah.
That's
All
your
right.
pig, eh?
Miss
Any
Bits.
questions? You need a babysitter, whatever you need.
Okay.
Right?
Ah,
We're in it
yeah.
together.
We're in it together for sure.
Yeah.
And remember,
Take
she
her
does sit. So she
Yes.
can
eh?
sit.
Yes.
Okay.
So I know some of you were saying, oh, you sent little Miss Bits home. She's so cute. Yes, we do rehome some of our animals. Some of them stay here on the farm. We do have some pigs that we're currently working with, Petey and Piper. They're not quite ready to find a new home yet, and they may not. They've been here a couple years, and they are still a little frumpy, but you know, the more interaction they get, the more handleable they will be. So Bacon Bits, she was a house pig for a little bit, and she was very approachable and easy to work with. So she really didn't need our help, and somebody that came along that wanted a little piglet for their little farm would benefit from that. Oh, Fernando, what are you doing, bud? Always working security, that boy. All right, this is our, well, we like to call this the nursery pen. So here is one of Fernando's girls here. We've got this cage here. It's a nursery inside a nursery, I guess you could say. And it's kind of closed off, and sometimes we'll put some flight birds in there, or maybe guinea fowl we did last year. We've got this chicken wire, and then we got this donated to us. It's just a plastic mesh that we zip tied onto the outside, just to make sure that any little ones don't squeak through these slightly larger holes. So we found that works really good. Over in the peacock area, we didn't have something like that, and the holes were a little bit larger, and the pea chicks 3 years ago, I think it was, they started running in and out, and we're like, no, no, no. So one of them disappeared, and we only had 2 that were left. Okay, well, here is one of the hens. What are you going in that one for? Look at this. You've got like 3 nests between the 2 of you. Well, I hope they're gonna sit. So we've got 1 in here, and we've got 2 nests in here. Oh boy. Okay, so turkey eggs, you can tell they've got those spots on them. They're roughly the same size as a chicken egg, but they've got all those little brown spots on them. So that's how we can distinguish what is a turkey egg and what's just a standard chicken egg. Of course, there's only turkeys in this area, so it really couldn't be anything else other than guinea that sometimes come in here, but none of these eggs appear to be guinea eggs. Look at you. Just a fun fact, peacocks will shed their tails every year. So he'll keep this tail until late fall, and then over the winter he'll grow it back, just in time for the spring mating season. Now we've got this little building here that we built up and put some kind of old wood on it to make it look a little rustic. Now I don't know if the other one's in here. No, nobody's sitting. Oh, so you can see there's an egg back there, and the other ones are kind of covered up. So nothing yet, so we'll just have to wait. Nobody's sitting yet. Oh, I guess I can always go in. These pigeons here, what we've done is, of course, it's netted over top just because we don't want to, well, we want to protect the peafowl and the pigeons. We have been cleared out of pigeons years ago because of crows. Crows and ravens and falcons and hawks. So we kept this closed, and we've got an opening that's over here. So they can go and fly right out here, and then they're good to go. So you can see some of them over here. There are some over on the other side over here. And there is a nest that is over there. So we'll head on over there and have a look at that. Well, you can't really see the nest. They were building the nest up on top of the air conditioning unit right there. So they started to make a nest there. Can't really see it, but it's up there. Another one is this Chinese goose. Now she's sitting in here and she's acting like, you can see her head goes down. You can't see me, I'm hiding. But I don't know, oh, yes, there is an egg. If you look closely, there's an egg right there that she's not covering up. My only concern with her laying eggs here is because, well, the goats normally lie in here and sleep in here at night, but the pigs can also likely get in there. So we did close off this area to kind of make it a little more comfortable for these guys here to come in and lay. But the pigs, once they know there's eggs, they come in for breakfast every morning and clear it out. So she's hiding right now. Her boy is likely out doing whatever he's doing. If he was in here, he would be hissing at us. So fish. Now, last video I mentioned we were going to be getting some fish in for the pond. We were getting some catfish to go in there. Now it kind of fell through what we were doing. It was, I guess, a miscommunication. The guy thought I was asking for fatheads and not flatheads. Now, I did mention to him that they were catfish we were looking for. We didn't want shiners because shiners are more susceptible to oxygen deprivation. They're not as good in ponds, and you have to have lots of aeration, whereas catfish are more suited to this type of pond. So we didn't get those. We will still be looking because we are getting some algae growth in there. So there's lots of food for the fish to be eating, and you can see those blooms happening there. So we want to kind of keep that at bay, and fish are the way to go. So we're going to have to, well, Tara had actually mentioned about going down to some of the watering holes that we have in this area that have really good flowing water and catching some native Manitoban fish. And that's important, that we have to have native fish. We can't have invasive fish like carp that were brought in, I believe, from Europe. Now they are really good for this kind of situation, but because it's not a closed pond, it's an actual open and drainage pond, there is a chance that those fish can get out into our front ditch and then make their way into other waterways. So there's a certain amount of fish that we can take, and the catfish is one that is very popular here in Manitoba, and it's a natural species. So there's your update on what's happening with the fish, and of course we want to get that taken care of sooner rather than later so that we can better maintain the pond. Here is our New Zealander right here. And it looks like she may be spending the night. She's gonna camp. Apparently she said she had to go another 80 kilometers today, but she's decided to forego that and do a little bit extra cycling tomorrow so she can get her goat fix in, her animal fix. And here's little Meadow. She's gotten so much bigger. It's amazing that she's only a few weeks old. And the size comparison between her and her mom. All right, so one last nest. It's a wild nest. And it is up here. Can't really see that very well. So I've got this ladder here because I was getting some footage of this with that new camera that I picked up. Oh, they're not in there. They've fledged. Huh. Okay. Well, see, this is that Realtek Argus 2 camera that I had, and it's just plugged in here, and there's a solar panel on the other side, and this has got a magnetic base, so you can really put it anywhere, and I decided to put it there. So what I will then do is show you some footage of that. There is the solar panel that just keeps things charged up there. So let's see what is on this camera. Here's Tara's straw garden. Now she's still got some things to plant in here. This area here, I believe, are potatoes. So she's got them all coming up. You can see it looks like something's growing there. Those look like onions. And what she did is she just she put the hay bales on their side, and she put the seeds in there and then covered them with soil, and she's been watering them. Now, of course, I mentioned earlier that the chipmunks have been getting into them. These here looks like tomatoes. And the other thing is the peas. That almost looks like... I'm not sure. But the peas, she's been planting along this line here so that they grow kind of up the deck here. Now, I don't know if this is some of the holes here. There's a couple little holes there. And that's something that I can use this camera for as well. I can set that up somewhere and it'll trigger on motion. So if there's motion going on, I'll be able to see what's going on there. So I may have to do that. Yeah, you can see some little digging here. But it looks like those chipmunks are busy up front. But I'm not sure what a lot of this stuff is. That doesn't look, it looks familiar, but I can't quite tell. This is the same thing over here. And these ones look like they were transplanted in. They're a little bit larger. And it extends over and around the corner. So it looks like there's a few other areas that she hasn't quite seeded yet. She's trying a few different things with some old scrap wood that we had picked up. So something that, you know, a lattice type work. And yeah, no, so this is the straw garden. So we'll have to go, next week we'll have to get Tara to give us a tour, because she does this during the day when I'm at work, or in the evenings when I'm working. This here's another archway that she wants to also grow things up around there. So stay tuned for more of the 10-acre gardening corner. I don't know, what should we call it? Well, the animals are back in the bush again, cleaning up things, getting all those fallen leaves from last fall. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's any questions you have about this video, please let me know down below. I know I probably missed some animal, but I will get them on the next video, I'm sure. So that's all for now. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button. And there's a little notification bell there as well. You can hit that and you'll get notifications as to new videos coming out. So until next video, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.